Right, everyone, just how good is Assetto Corsa EVO on the most expensive and best graphics card in the world? We're going to find out. Everything is maxed out to Ultra. We're on the RTX 4090 here. I don't even know, we're in 4K obviously, if Assetto Corsa EVO is going to cope with this, to be honest. Because all the experimental setting... Oh my god. The AI needs a lot of work. All the experimental settings are on, a lot of work. So level of detail, experimental, like the game will not look anywhere in the world better than this. Sorry bro, how's my damage? Okay, oh what a move. So if you're wondering how good EVO can look, because I was trying to play this on an RTX 4060 Ti, and it wasn't a fun experience. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, like, I think the VRAM, it was really struggling. It was like a slideshow. But here, we're very lucky to play on this machine. And I have to say, the graphics are extremely good. I think it's just not very well optimized, which is hopefully something they can fix. But with everything on, with the 4090, like, genuinely working hard... Always struggle on this chicane. With the 4090 working really hard, you can just see. So have a look at... There should be relatively little pop-in. There should be very good level of detail. This is going to be sketchy. Like all the time. So it should have a very consistent feel to it. Which is obviously more immersive. Now, EVO likes to throw a lot of sort of like particle effects and volumetric stuff. Am I not revving out enough? I have, believe it or not, I've driven this car in real life on a racetrack in America. And one of my favourite experiences ever, so I'm going to love driving this car in EVO. That was absolutely horrendous. I apologise. But look at the detail there, the multiple tree lines... that you definitely sort of notice as your eye wanders, and I think stuff like that does make a big difference. Ah, my wheel's gone. So what I'm struggling with in EVO is that my force feedback on my wheel is actually going, and I think it's because I've got it plugged into a USB hub here. So we're going to try a different circuit now, and I'm going to plug it directly in my PC. Let's go. Okay, so I've connected my wheelbase directly to the PC, and now we're going to have a look at a day-night race. So this is going to be a day-night race, I think, at Suzuka. Again, all the top settings, my guy. And it's a very varied grid here. You can see the reflections on the cars. I don't know what is going... Well, I guess thanks for writing me. We did see some frame drop... It's like going rental karting, this. I mean, it is literally like going racing in bumper cars. Now, given it's overcast here, I don't think we're gonna... I think it's going to be interesting to see how the sensation changes, like the atmosphere, as the sun goes down, because I've got some very accelerated time going on. So we will see. Whoa! But I have to say, graphics-wise again, you can see multiple tree lines there in the distance. As you get close, there's the noticeable reflections, quite a lot of sharpness as well, which is awesome. See, the wing mirrors are noticeable. Oh my god, that is an absolutely horrendous crash. That'd be a death. The wing mirrors are noticeably lower frame rate, you can see. Colours are quite nice and I would say muted. So it gives it a very realistic feel. The replays, I've noticed, have some very nice softening and anti-aliasing that I don't think we quite get when we're driving the car. So you might see some replay footage that looks very good. Don't be fooled. You can see here on the 49... Lads, what are we doing here? You can see here on the 4090, let me move that mouse out of the way. Leave a mouse emoji if you saw that. 130R. The lights are quite nice as well. I've always really liked the lights in EVO since I've been playing it. They have some sort of like... They feel very realistic, the lights. I don't know what it is. Like the flashing light boards. Around the outside, if it doesn't turn into us. And you can see, like, it really loves the volumetric stuff. Like, look at how it's misty. I'd say it's almost unrealistic. It almost feels like... Oh, you just stopped, bro. I mean, this is the worst example of AI in EVO I've ever seen. And driving by me. Did I YOLO it? Style out a little bit. It almost feels like it's using it as a level of detail protection by having this haze. So everywhere you drive is like very foggy or smoggy. But I kind of like it. I don't mind it. I think it's done tastefully. I'd be interested to know why they've done that stylistically, so I will ask them. Did I just get a track cut there? Or was that another car? Another car. Even stuff like the fencing on the right hand side looks very detailed. You can feel that it's fenced. You can see that it's fenced. Like, that's pretty insane level of detail. And you can see there with the brake lights on the Audi, I think, just how, when I mean that realism, have a look when they brake. They're not overpowering those lights. They feel realistically lit. I mean, that's quite subtle, but I think important. It gives the cars scale. It means that they don't feel like they're toy cars. I haven't really touched on the internal of the car because I think it's quite basic. I think the hands are quite basic, given that for this cockpit view they've decided to go with hands and not gloves. The thing is, when you go with gloves, you can have very high textured gloves and sort of feel the material. Whereas hands and like the sort of translucency of skin, I think, is a lot harder to do. And I'm not super impressed by the hands. It kind of feels basic on the inside. In fact, the inside of the car feels very different to what I'm seeing outside. Lads. Like a pro. Now I can press the old third person here and see what's happening out of the car. Again, you can see the lights feel realistic, the way that they're gently illuminating. Probably they're illuminating the tarmac too much behind. Ironically, I've driven this car a lot in Test Drive Unlimited, and that has a massively over-egged kind of illumination of the tarmac. There you can see the red behind. But the lights in the car themselves, I really like them, I have to say. They don't feel like it's a cheat that you can easily see when the car ahead's braking, like more than you would in real life. And, you know, I've raced in real life and I'm never really noticing the brake lights of other cars. Whereas in Sims, it's quite, again, overpowered to be like, oh, they've broken there, I'm just going to brake at the same time. Or adjust off that accordingly. Something I really like, that's not strictly to do with the graphics, is I love how alive the cars look. I'd actually say they feel and look more alive than, say, Gran Turismo. I don't think iRacing is a fair comparison because you're not really driving road cars in iRacing. There's our friend in the Audi again. Let's go side by side with him. And that's about as garish as you get in EVO, that colour. I'm just sort of sparring with these drivers now. It is very, very, very good, I have to say. Like, let's go to bonnet. I mean, look how nice that is behind. I mean, no damage is a bit disappointing. I mean, damage would be insane to see with this graphics model. Look at the shadows under the car. I've got the experimental shadows on. You can see the suspension sort of really moving around, which I really like. They've got that really nice. I like the cars feel like they're on their haunches. They feel like they're loaded. They feel like they're on the maximum of grip, and therefore you kind of feel like I can drive around this car because I've taken a line that allows me to have more grip. Going on the bicycle lane here. Get a slightly better view of the detail around the circuit here. So it should be getting darker. But look how grey-ish this looks. I can tell it's like realism. Like it's not a saturated colour palette at all. Even the red on that Honda. Oh, I might have gone there. Careful of my arm. Oh no, there we go. We'll have a look here. Yeah, I like those boards. They're just the colouring's right on them. You can see the grass, nothing that special, but this is Evo. Let me show you the replay mode. So this is what it looks like in replay mode. And I think it's a bit deceptive actually. I think you're going to see it's going to look a lot better. So this will be like a drone camera or something. There's some kind of really nice... I don't mean deceptive in terms of like they're faking it, like this is 100% real, but it doesn't quite look this good when you're racing. There's something going on with the anti-aliasing, or you see that the depth of field, and that might just be a realistic thing from the type of camera being used here that they're simulating with like the aperture and the zoom and everything, whereas when you're in the car, you're a static camera every time. But it's really, really, really nice, some of these views. You know, there's some kind of jerkiness going on there, which is interesting. Maybe there was a lot of collisions happening. And for example, at Laguna Seca, I haven't really noticed those. Again, some jerkiness there. The shadowing under the cars is not as sophisticated, but look at the suspension, look at the splitter on the car behind. It's interesting because I've seen a lot of negative comments that I think are completely warranted on the clipping. Like, these cars are therefore clipping through. Like, look at the Chevrolet. You might see that spoiler might, as it digs in, like, kind of clip through the tarmac. Now, whether that means that the suspension roll is over-exaggerated. So I had the world's biggest accident. I don't know, but it feels like the car is modelled on kind of suspension, and all sims talk about that, and the Simcade games that really do a lot of road cars like Forza and Gran Turismo really took a good game. I remember before Gran Turismo 7 came out, they showed the new suspension at the Nordschleife in the BMW M6, like going over the bumps and then doing like the wake of the air behind. But it doesn't really feel like that in Gran Turismo. It feels either you're driving GT cars, high downforce cars where you don't have that anyway, or the cars where you're driving road cars feel almost comical in the way they drive. Whereas these cars feel like high performance road cars, not comical cars, which I think is really nice. And I think you'll have a nicer driving experience of road cars than in Gran Turismo. I think Gran Turismo has actually become a really good and fun, well, I don't know about good, but it's a really fun GT simulator. It's got that really nicely done. Even the Super Formula is a really nice drive, again high downforce. But whenever you drive something in Gran Turismo that's a road car on like comfort tyres, it's just really comical. In fact, put a put a sunglasses emoji in the comments if you agree with that. Like here it feels sophisticated, that with the sophisticated driving you can see the way the cars are. So here we go. This is Evo on right now because the 5090 is not out yet. Fastest graphics card in the world. I'm going to do some more testing. Let me know what you would like to see, and hopefully you found this interesting, and I'll see you next time.